So the third of our finals here this afternoon from the Yonex Japan Open 2008 is men's singles. It's the only discipline where the number 1 and 2 seeds are through to the final. 2 silver medalists, 1 from the Olympic Games, 1 from the World Championships. This should be an absolute cracker. Lee China Wei of Malaysia, the number 1 seed. There's the Indonesian fan up against Sony DK.
Lee China Wei 選手、マレーシア。
The finalists of men's singles are Lee China Wei of
Lee
Malaysia.
China Wei, the defending champion, the Olympic silver medalist.
And
Sony DK, silver medalist from the World Championships in Kuala Lumpur last year. And these 2 players last met in the quarter-finals of the Olympic Games in Beijing. And of course it was the Malaysian that won, because he went on to take the silver medal. And he won very convincingly, 21-19, 21-11. But a different match, different situation. And I can tell you that at the World Championships last year in Kuala Lumpur, when Lee China Wei was the number 2 seed, of course all the pressure put on him to perform in his home country. And he lost in the round of last 16, and he lost to his opponent of today. So the 25-year-old, who will turn 26 next month, born in Penang. And in fact, the governor of Penang has just awarded Lee China Wei a datukship. So he's now Datuk Lee China Wei. World number 1. Reached that status 2 years ago for 2 months, June and July of 2006, and has regained that coveted position from the Olympic champion Lin Dan. But of course it's not here at Japan Open this year. But looking at his path through to the final, and what an extraordinary semi-final it was against the number 16 Joachim Persson of Denmark. Just 15 minutes of play, 20 minutes of action to beat the Dane 21-6, 21-4, and if that's the sort of form, then this man, Sony DK, is in all sorts of trouble. 1 year younger than his opponents, but slightly taller. Number 6 in the world rankings. And looking at his path through to today's final, well, he too, all of his matches in 2 straight games. In fact, he hasn't come up against a seeded opponent so far, and that's extraordinary when you consider 8 seeds in a draw of 32, and he hasn't played against 1 seeded player. Quarter-final against Mohamed Roslin Hashim, who of course was runner-up last week at the Grand Prix event in Taipei. And then a semi-final victory over Kenichi Tago of Japan. That one in 2 straight as well. So this should be a fascinating contest. There's been a lot of talk in the Malaysian press about the fact that Lee China Wei, since the Olympic Games, has been invited to one function after another. Steve Temple of Wales, the umpire. Zhang Ling, the service judge from China. Yes, the Malaysian press have really hounded the fact that Lee China Wei has not been in full training. That's quite understandable after the big build-up to the Olympic Games. I think a player is entitled to have a slightly less intense period of training. But of course, this is the first of the Super Series events since those Beijing Games.
Indonesia.
Plenty of Indonesian fans here at the Tokyo Metropolitan Gymnasium.
Malaysia.
So too Malaysians.
John Lee serve. Level. Play.
So the Malaysian gets this final underway. He's the defending champion. Won the title last year against Taufik Hidayat of Indonesia, who then was the defending Olympic champion. But of course, Hidayat going out in the first round in Beijing, losing to Wong Chun Han of Malaysia. So a great rivalry between these two nations as far as badminton is concerned.
2 love.
Don't know whether you're able to see, but Sony DK has that back support. In fact, there's a very clear shot of it. And don't be too alarmed by that. He wears that all the time when he plays. It's more of a precaution. Badminton players, of course, have to arch their back on many occasions, then they have to bend down low, stretch down low to retrieve smashes. And a lot of the players suffer with wear and tear on the lower back. That's a wonderful disguise on the drop shot from Sony DK.
Service over. 3-1.
What a net shot from the Malaysian.
Service over.
Well, between them, these two men have won the last two Super Series events. Indonesian Open was the last one before the Beijing Games, and that was won by Sony DK. Singapore before that, and that was won by Lee China Wei, but he's missed that smash.
Service over. 4-2.
Born in Surabaya, Sony DK. Previous best that he's done here at the Japan Open was incidentally last 16th, and that was 4 years ago.
That's over. 3-4.
The Malaysian, in my opinion, probably the fittest athlete in world badminton. Perhaps not right at the moment because of not being in intensive training straight after Beijing. But his movement around the court, his ability to retrieve shuttles, I think is second to none. Just wide. There is a drift in this wonderful arena, and I think that shuttle just caught by the wind and drifting wide. Called fault by the umpire. Malaysian doesn't like the call.
Service over. 6-5.
Stephen Temple from England, from Wales, Oof. Well, I'm not convinced by that. Umpire saying that he took the shuttle before it had crossed the net. It didn't look as if that was the case from that evidence.
Service over, 6-all.
And there's another example of the retrieving capabilities of the Malaysian. It's a super net shot from Lee China Wei.
7,
He gave it quite a bit of height, but my goodness, it was landing close to the net. And because it was tumbling, there's no way that the Indonesian could attack that. So for the first time in this match, this final, the Malaysian has gone into the lead. Still the first game, of course.
service over, 7-all.
Works his opponent so hard, does Lee China Wei,
8-7.
steadily pushing them to all four corners of the court, and then suddenly he'll rush forward, the little injection of pace, not pace of shot, usually just pace of movement. This is an unbelievable rally. Incredible. The Indonesian, well, he tried virtually everything to try and get his opponent out of position, but nothing seemed to work.
Service over, 8-9.
I think the Indonesian will be happy with being able to get into these flat, fast exchanges, because he's got problems to try and outmaneuver his opponent. Nine all.
Nine.
That's a wild backhand.
Service over, 10 all.
Well, we thought it'd be a great match, and so it's proving so far. Couldn't be close at the mid-game interval. Just the one solitary point in it. Look at the way he just glides around the court. Movement of Sony DK far more laboured.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
So the narrowest of margins in this opening game as play resumes.
11-10, play. Go. 12-10.
Oh, that's terrific. Weathered the storm. He was under severe pressure, was Lee China Wei. And then as soon as he had the opportunity, my goodness, he put that smash away with venom. And all of a sudden, he's built up a 3-point cushion.
Service over, 11-13.
Another testing rally. And once again, when they get into this really physical battle, it's the Malaysian who comes out on top.
11.
Going wide. Yeah, a little
15,
shake of the head
11.
at the end of that rally from Sony DK. Yeah, he's bewildered. What on earth do you have to do to win the rallies here? Well, I'm not sure many players know. That's why the Malaysian, looked on by coach Misbah Sadek, that's why he's number one. No, he's missed it. He is human after all.
Service over, 12-15.
Both players taking the opportunity to towel down. The court is mopped of the perspiration. Time perhaps for Sony DK to rethink his tactics.
Service over.
Turn to play the high backhand.
12.
Always a dangerous thing to do. You have your back to your opponent. You can't see the court. You can't see where he is. Oh, now that's a bit better from the Indonesian.
Service over, 13-16.
Yeah, this time him forcing the Malaysian to play the backhand. Was landed in. That's great defence. Wonderful reactions.
14-16.
Just guides it past him. Super play. So the 4 points margin between these two has been reduced to just one solitary point. Well, the line judge initially was going to indicate out, but changed his mind, called it good. And I have to say, in the end, I thought he made the right decision. Yeah, that was in. Yeah, I think the drift in this arena, as we look down on the court, the drift goes from left to right, and I think that initially, as the shuttle was struck, looked as if it was going to go out, but the wind brought it back into court. Lovely, lovely defensive shot once again. And back into the lead goes the Indonesian.
16.
5 straight points from 12-16 down to 17-16 up. Good judgment though from the Malaysian. He'll be very thankful that run of points has come to an end.
Service over, 18.
Good
17.
deception overhead. Brushing across the feathers, the Indonesian. Yeah, just slightly slow to react, Lee China Wei.
19-17.
The cross-court shot there from Lee China Wei, just far too loose, invited the kill. So now the Indonesian just 2 points away from this opening game. Now just the one. And who would have thought that at 12-16 down? Called out. He has won 9 out of the last 8 rallies. Sony DK comes from behind to take this opening game 21-17 in 21 minutes. And let me tell you, that duration is a minute longer than the whole of the Malaysian semi-final against the number 6 seed Jochen Pearson. 20 minutes in duration, that semi-final. 21-6, 21-4, and when you consider there was 5 minutes of intervals, the 2 90-second timeouts in the middle of each of those 2 games, and the 2-minute timeout in between the 2 games, well, that's an indication of how fast and how one-sided that semi-final was. Well, it's interesting, as always, that Misbah Sidek says very little to his players. Quick word of advice, that's all, and then he goes and sits behind the court. Very quiet man, very wise man. So the players just about ready to resume.
Second game, love all, play.
1 game to the good, 21-17 for Sony DK, the number 2 seed, against the defending champion and world number 1, Lee China Wei of Malaysia.
One love.
Shuttle just long of that back line.
2 love.
There is Misbah Sidek. What a great player he was in his day. Same era as Morten Frost from Denmark. Malaysian wants the shuttle change. Sony DK says fine. And as I was mentioning in the women's singles, that's good to see, because nowadays we're having no end of arguments between the players as to whether to change the shuttle or not. Wide, and he knew throughout the entirety of that rally that his racket had gone. That's why he was playing the drop shots. And it's a very, very good start by the Indonesian. Malaysian just testing the new racket. 4 love, second game. That's incredible. I mean, it's just remarkable.
5 love.
The Indonesian has won 13 of the last 14 rallies to come from 12-16 down in that opening game to 5-love up now in the second. And finally, the run is broken.
That's score 1-5.
Going to go wide. Yes. Goodness me. The Indonesian was nowhere near it. Good reaction by the Malaysian. Anywhere inside the court would have sufficed. Well,
7-1.
He talked to the Malaysian media about the fact that there'd been so much attention heaped on him since the Olympic silver medal, and whilst he very much appreciated all the celebrations and all the functions that he was invited to, was anxious to get back into full training again, and perhaps hasn't resumed quite quickly enough. Well, the lift was so short from Sony DK that he had to guess one side or the other. Goes for his backhand side.
2-7.
Guessed the wrong way.
Service over 8-2.
Too much.
Service over 3-8.
Well, he very rarely gives anything away with his expression, Misbah Sidek. But I have to say, he looked a little bit concerned there. The Malaysian just a fraction off his normal pace, and because he relies so heavily on his speed of movement, that slight drop in pace has a major effect on his game. Nine-3. Oh, that's superb. Great smash from the Indonesian.
10-3.
And the world number one has got to do something fairly swiftly, because at the moment it's looking very much as if the Indonesian is going to dethrone him from his Japan Open title. Another one drops in. Misjudgment from Lee China Wei. Sony DK, who won the last Super Series event prior to this one, the Indonesian Open, looks to be continuing that good form. Of course, we had the Olympics in between. And then, as I mentioned earlier, he lost to his opponent of today, lost to Lee China Wei in the quarterfinals.
20 seconds. 20 seconds.
Three,
play.
an 8-point cushion. Yeah, a lot more urgency in the style of Lee China Wei in that rally.
11.
Took the initiative, dictating the pace. Missed it. And those are the sort of errors that when he's on top form, he just doesn't make those sort of mistakes. Oh, there's another. An unforced error that you just don't expect from the world number one. I have to say, in his defence, of course, it's desperately difficult after the build-up to a major games like the Olympics. Everything focused towards Beijing. The hopes of a gold medal,
14.
the disappointment of a silver. But a silver is not a disappointment, let me tell you that. It's a wonderful, wonderful achievement. But whatever the emotion, disappointment or elation, you need time to recover. And I don't think he's had enough time. Oh, that's a terrific smash. Number of times from deep in his forehand corner, he smashed straight down the line. Sony DK, the outright winner. 15-4. That's wide too. 16-4. In all honesty, there's only one outcome now.
Service over. 5-16.
Oh, the Malaysian fans waving their flags,
6-16.
trying to inspire their man to fight back. But surely a 10-point deficit in men's singles is too much. control at the front of the court, and the reaction from Sony DK at the end of that rally very telling. The little clenched fist and a squeal of "come on." He knows how close he is to taking this title. Just 4 points away. Never better previously in this particular event than last 16. But if he serves like that, he'll still be waiting for his first. Pushed it wide.
9-17.
That's brilliant. So many times we've seen the winning smash down the Malaysian's backhand side, that time set up with a smash down his forehand. Good awareness from the Indonesian to keep switching it, keep changing it. Fifth final of the year for this man from Malaysia. He's won 2 of them, but it looks almost certain that he'll lose his 3rd final of the year. No, but that's good judgment.
Service over, 10-18.
It's a puzzled look on his face.
19-10.
Well, both players struggling to control the lift.
Both
of them hitting
19.
just long of that back line. That's wide. And the error from Lee China Wei means that Sony DK from Indonesia has match points, 9 of them, for a victory over the world #1. And he's done it the first time of asking. Sony DK, a big smile from the Indonesian. Not only victory over the world #1, but also the Japan Open title.
21-11.
Lee China Wei, who a year ago won this very title, beating another Indonesian, Taufik Hidayat, in the final, having beaten Lin Dan in the semi-final this year. Was not up to the task, I suspect. Needed more time to recover from the emotion of Beijing and that Olympic silver medal. So his title gone from his grasp. But for Sony DK, emphasising what a major threat, what a major player he is in world terms. Of course, he was a bronze medalist at the Olympic Games 4 years ago in Athens, and since then has had mixed fortune. But of course, as he stands by to be interviewed by the local television network, we can remind you that both the doubles events still to come, the men's doubles final next on court, and then the last of our finals will be women's doubles. New Chinese pairing of Cheng and Zhao up against the Malaysians of China Wei and Wang Pei Ti. So 2 more finals still to come, but I have to say I was very, very impressed with Sony DK to come back from 12-16 down in that opening game, and from that moment on, having secured the first, he was very much in control. Rushed to a 5-love lead in that second game before closing it out 21-11. We'll be back with the prize presentation for the men's singles. Don't go away, stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to draw your attention to awarding ceremony for the winners of men's singles.
So the men's singles finalists are invited forward for the prize presentation. Disappointment, obviously, for Lee China Wei, the new world #1. But delight for the Indonesian, Sony DK, the 24-year-old from Surabaya in Indonesia.
The winner of men's singles is Sony DK of Indonesia.
Sony DK, second title of the year, second Super Series title
And the
in
runner-up
succession.
is Lee China Wei of Malaysia.
Lee China Wei, who last month in Beijing was so bitterly disappointed to lose the Olympic final to Lin Dan in China. And whilst he will,
The
of
winner's
course,
plate and the gold medal are
be
presented
very
by
disappointed,
Mr.
he knows there is good reason for it. He hasn't been in full training since the Olympic Games. He'll be working to put that right. There's no doubt about that. But for Sony DK, silver plate and the Yonex Japan Open title. The silver medal to the world #1. But he'll be back. Can be absolutely certain of that.
The winner's prize of $16,000 is presented by Mr. Ben Yoneyama, the president of Yonex.
Mr. Ben Yoneyama, president of Yonex Company, presenting the checks. The major sponsors, the title sponsors here in Japan.
Congratulations to the winners.
So they pose for the photographs. Sony DK played so well today. We will, of course, have the excitement of the men's doubles coming up in just a moment. Surprise finalists in the form of the Indonesian Hassan and Septano. They're up against the former world champions from Denmark, Lars Forska and Jonas Rasmussen. Delight for the Indonesians already. Of course, they took the mixed doubles title. They've now taken the men's singles, and they have a chance in the men's doubles. That men's doubles final coming up in just a moment.